I think we can all appreciate the aesthetics of the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Movies like Mad Max always made me excited for dystopian car warfare. Big guns, huge tires, bigger engines. I love the ramshackle look of the orc vehicles, but I always played human factions, so I could rarely kit bash stuff together, besides like terrain. The ramshackled bolt-on look does match the style of Necromunda perfectly though, deep in the Underhive where buildings are built upon buildings. So when Games Workshop announced a new expansion for Necromunda, I couldn't help but get excited. I've heard of the Ash Wastes before in the lore, the desolate desert outside the hive, and in the lore they talk about using cars and other vehicles to travel the wastes. Hello everyone, I'm Roy from Breaking Character LARP, and in this video, I decided to get ahead of the hype and start building my own fleet of Mad Max style post-apocalyptic wasteland cars for Necromunda Ash Wastes. Wow, that was a little more intense than I expected, but that's okay. So this is the car we're going to start with. This is a Hot Wheels Fast Racer Pullback. I got it for $4 at Five Below, but I've seen them going for like $12 at Walmart. Don't pay that much. This is not a $12 car. $4, this is perfect. This little bit, yeah, she's going in the bits bin. So let's take a look at it. It's like a hot rod. It's like a 1950s style hot rod. You got an exposed engine, and I like the back because now you could put somebody back there. For scale, this is the 40K miniature next to it, and yeah, the cars are gigantically huge, but I think that'll be fine for the aesthetic we're going for. First things first, let's take this thing apart by unscrewing all the screws here at the bottom and unleashing that juicy, that juicy chassis from this bottom plastic. Yeah, that was probably inappropriate. The skull that's like molded into the front of this, into the hood, is really, really cool, so I want to make sure that stands out. It's actually a pretty cool toy. My dog, I was running this thing on the floor and he loved it, but we got to get that motor out of here. We don't want our miniatures kind of rolling around on the battlefield. And of course, all of this just becomes free bits. I'm definitely going to save all these little gears. I have a plan for these later. Pulling out the engine, that was pretty much the only thing holding the wheels in on the back. So I'm just going to throw some super glue back here and glue our wheels back into place. There's a lot of fun details here, but as you can see, most of them are stickers. And if we're going to put a spray primer over this and then want to paint it, yeah, those all got to go. Try your best with your knife, but inevitably you're going to have some goo left behind, some of the sticky residue. So that's why I like to use either Goo Gone or Goof Off. Quick word to the wise, it's supposed to have like an orange smell to it, but man does it stink. It just has a really strong chemical smell, so just a heads up on that when you use it. Let it sit for a bit and then just take a paper towel and then you can just wipe off all that goo, leaving behind a nice clean piece of plastic. If the wheels are only super glued in place, they're going to break off very easily. So what I have here is some 2-part putty. You take it, you mix it together, it's called green stuff, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there. When it hardens, it becomes like rock hard, almost like plastic. The front of this car has this beautiful windshield in there that's already open for us. But as you can see on the sides, it's just molded plastic. To cut these open, what I'm going to first do is drill 2 little pilot holes with my pin vise. And then from there, I could use a pair of pliers or sprue trimmers to then cut out the rest. Just be careful and take your time. This plastic's actually pretty durable, it's pretty heavy duty, so it's not going to shatter on you when you try to cut it. But again, if you're not careful, you may cut off more than you want. And then with my hobby knife, I just come through and clean up my mess. Perfect. With both sides done, now we have a perfect car that people can shoot into or throw bombs into. So we need to protect it somehow. This is some leftover screen door mesh that I've had from a project in my home, and this stuff cuts up really nice. It is metal, so sharp edges, and of course metal shavings, be careful. Cut it to size, and then all we have to do is just glue it in with some super glue. To help the glue cure to the plastic and the metal better, I'm going to use some Instaset. Just got to make sure that we cover all 3 windows now. Perfect. Oh, you can't forget the little skull. Happy little skulls for happy little Necromunda. These cars do have a lot of areas that are just bare plastic, so I'm going to try to fill those areas in with some granny grading. It's not super important, but I'm just going to do it to add some extra details in here. These tires are looking pretty vulnerable, so we're going to build something around it to give it some more protection. And of course, we're going to go to our good old trusty yogurt caps, or this is a applesauce cap. Cut out the center from these, and these are like the absolute perfect diameter for our coverings of our wheels, hood, bumpers, what the heck are these called? Glued in place, they look great. Like all good post-apocalyptic cars, this thing needs some guns. These are some pieces that I've been saving for years, and I just can't find a good use for them yet. I think this is a hunter-killer missile from an Imperial Guard Chimera, but I honestly have no clue. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I don't know if this piece actually needs a gun on it. And oops, I bought a second one. And hey, speaking of chimeras, these are huge. These vehicles are supposed to be carrying 10 guys apiece, and then these cars are just like 2 dudes in it. I don't know. This hot rod needs some more work. Using the wind-up motor, I'm just going to create a engine that's on the outside of the car. The idea is like it's such a big engine that it's over the hood of it. Kind of like Mad Max's car. Back to the Imperial Guard bits, let's grab ourselves an autocannon. And then we're going to need a little machine gun on the top. That's actually from a Goliath. That's from a Gene Stealer vehicle. And it actually broke off once before, so I'm going to make an even stronger mounting bracket using some paper clips and this 2-part putty, this green stuff. I'm going to make a really strong bond so this gun never falls off ever again. Using my pin vise again, I'm just going to drill 2 holes into the roof, and then I'll be able to like literally pin in this gun attachment. A little too long? That's easy. Just trim off the bits and glue it in place. I don't know, these wheels are just so exposed. This is some extra 3D printed materials that I had. I think it was supposed to be like a gate or a walkway, but it's thin enough that it can actually mold and bend. So I'm going to kind of create these like little cages around the wheels to protect them. We're getting there, but they definitely need more of that ramshackled look. This is another bit that I've been saving for years, and it's like diamond plating. I'm going to sparingly use it in these little strips. No one's going to notice if I put some Chaos Space Marine stuff in here, right? That'll be our little secret. Shh. Back into the bits bin for any little pieces of plastic card or anything that I could use for this project. Maybe this is a piece of some old corrugated metal that the gangers use to further protect their drivers. The back of this is just way too plain, so let's use some more of this 3D printed material to give it some details. The other tire needs some protection as well, so just using an old plastic gear that I have, I'm going to make some cuts and kind of build up some other spiky material. And then of course drop it and almost glue it to my table. To make this look used and weathered, I kind of made some chips into this piece, and then I drilled in some holes using the pin vise to make it look like maybe there were bullets. Somebody shot at this car once before. Back to the gun. Let's just take this autocannon and we're just going to glue it right onto the side of this car. I just love the image in my head of the driver sees somebody in his target reticule and just reaches across the seat and just starts unloading this autocannon on some poor ganger down the street. And this piece of plastic is for my wife's diabetic medical supplies. It's just a little tab she's going to throw away anyway, so I might as well just use it. And every post-apocalyptic car needs a skull, so why not a Gene Stealer skull? Plop it on down right next to the Gene Stealer logo. Yes, I'm still sad that I never really did get my Gene Stealer limousine. Okay, this part I'm actually really embarrassed about. I was too lazy to actually use like some real rivets or some real bolts, so I took some 3D printing filament and I like sliced them down to these little tiny bolts, and then using some super glue, I just glued them on. I've since gone out and actually bought nail art to do this for real, but I want to show you the whole process. One final shot before I actually go outside and prime these. This ultra matte Rust-Oleum spray paint works wonders for little projects like this. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I am not the world's best painter, but I'm going to try my best. Most of the paints you'll see here that I'm using are Citadel paints, except for that Mephiston red. That guy's actually completely dried out. Red ones do go faster, but blue's lucky. For all the metal parts, I'm going to start off with lead belcher before doing a nice little highlight job with some iron breaker. And how could I forget Null oil, or I just say null oil. I'm not going to show you guys the whole painting process. You guys know how to paint. I just want to show you guys some tips, some tricks, some things you could do to get your Ash Wasteland vehicles up and running. I'm a big proponent of, like, even a crappy paint job is better than no paint job. I think if it's primed and you have your 3 colors on there, your bare minimum, I think that's way better than just gray plastic. So this is my call to action. If I can paint, not very well, but if I can paint, then so can you guys. Just try your best, give it your all, and you know, you'll learn from experience by just keep doing it. Well, I think I kept you guys in suspense long enough. Let's actually see what this stuff looks like on the tabletop. So there you have it, a quick, easy little build for your Necromunda gang. Whether this is going to be in some background terrain piece, whether this is going to be an objective, or whether you're going to have guys hanging off of this will surely add some life to your Necromunda tables. This was Roy from Breaking Character LARP. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please like, comment, and subscribe. I do read all the comments. I do love hearing from you guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
I'm gravely disappointed